bricked up, and so ready to go. I'm feeling like a professional YouTuber with my little mic. Although it looks quite big. I might just have a small head. Anyways, idols. Khabib, Sam Sulek, Steph Curry, Tyson Fury, Chris Bumstead, David, like just listed off all the influencers, even dare I say Anakin Skywalker. These are all dudes, it's a very like male thing I'm aware of, that I kind of really used to look. Brad Pitt's another one. I love Brad Pitt, but maybe Tyler Durden Brad Pitt, as opposed to, actually no, Brad Pitt, he basically plays Brad Pitt. What a guy. But these are all people that like I kind of realized I used to really like idolize or like look up to. Not like in a creepy way where I'd have pictures of them on my wall, except for Khabib, who is my lock screen and has been for ages because he's just such an awesome dude. But there was definitely a period in my life where I would maybe be feeling a bit uncertain or a bit adrift. And I'd kind of see maybe a clip of these guys, Steph Curry, and just think, damn, like this dude's got it all sorted out. I need my life to be like his. So let me go and commit to wrestling, or let me go and commit to bodybuilding, the gym, making money. Like you see all of these things. And it's not real. It's not real. What was attractive to me in these ideals, and this is what was interesting, this is why I thought about it. Recently, I haven't had it. For like the last year, maybe. I just haven't had... There was... The most recent one was Tyson Fury. And then David Goggins was another really good one. But it's like the relationship with these people has kind of changed. It used to be kind of like a romanticizing of like, this is what it means to be like an elite, have like a successful life. Like really, really thinking like, this is where I'm going to find my meaning. I'm going to ignore everything else, because if this person can find as much satisfaction from this one thing, then why don't I just do the same? And it makes sense. If I had a bit of uncertainty in life and I had lots of different things, and I was like, so say, for example, confusion with school. I think it's a pretty relatable position to be in as like just a young dude and dudette as well. Like, yeah, how the hell are you supposed to become an adult like that? It's not like that. Looking in from the outside on these athletes and Sith Lords, I guess, not only do they have like a kick-ass story, which is really, really cool. And so that kind of, I don't know if that triggered like a dopaminergic reaction, but I was like, yeah, like who wouldn't want to be living like Steph Curry? Awesome. But it also, everything seemed so much simpler. I was able to take all of my problems, say, just combine everything into one of my problems of school. Maybe I had an argument with like my family. Maybe I was falling out with friends. Like all of these different things, I could just ignore if I felt I could just ignore if I was like, I'm going to decide to be Khabib, because Khabib only cares about wrestling. That's a great example of one of the things you do. And that's why it looks so attractive, because I wouldn't have all of these issues if like I went to 3 year Dagestan and became wrestler. Like, you see what I mean? One, that isn't true. These guys are going to go through the exact same things that everyone else does. But the reason I'm looking at it and thinking he's like 100% wrestler, he's not any little bit. This is kind of like we did sociology GCSE. It's kind of like a master status. You forget that this dude's also maybe a father, a brother, a coach, a trainer. Wait a second, I just realised I've just gone in my pocket. This is the mic thing. This is the receiver for the mic, which is supposed to be plugged into my phone. So this mic's not even doing anything. Like if I go like, I'm going to blow really loudly into it, you would have heard me go like, but you didn't hear like that, unless it is connected, in which case I apologise. But, you know, I'm going to back myself. It ain't doing anything. You can just kind of like sit in the corner, I guess. Sorry, what was I saying? Oh yeah, you forget that Khabib isn't just a 100% wrestler. He's also a dude who has a wife and kids and all of these different issues that he's dealing with that you deal with too. But you can look in on it and think, nah, life would be so much simpler. And it would. It would be simpler. But would it be like better? I think another thing I was like looking at these guys and thinking is, you couldn't not live a meaningful life. Or maybe that's just the way I'm seeing it. So I would need a meaning in my life to be able to live it. And it doesn't have to be like one meaning forever. It can change from time to time to time. Right now, my meaning now is to gain some redemption from the fact that I've put a broken mic, not even a broken, just a null. And the mic could have not been there. It was just, the only purpose it served was making my head look small. And I need to recover from that. That's my current meaning. But yeah, and so I kind of assumed, holy shit, okay, there's two very big spiders in the shed. Again. And so I was like, okay, well, these guys obviously must find meaning in whatever they do. So why don't I fully commit my life to basketball? And then I can get like meaning from that, or fully commit my life to wrestling. You see all these different sort of things. And so that would cause like a 2-week basketball phase, or that would cause like a 2-week like lock-in phase for like health and fitness. This is not the exact same thing as when I did the marathon thing for after he did David Goggins' book. That was just like, I think I'm a pretty impulsive guy. I was like, why not try do a marathon? And I'm also a pretty dumb guy, but whatever. And yeah, but I haven't really had that recently. And maybe it's because I'm like more confident in backing myself, or just that I've kind of found like a lot more. There hasn't been any more uncertainty than where I am right now, but I kind of come to terms with the fact that if I just kind of do whatever is going to give me the best like dad law, that's kind of a pretty good strat, because I'm going to be able to look back boldly. Wait, no, what? I'm going to be able to look back on my stuff and be like, yeah, I did that like really boldly and I did that with purpose. And I think that's kind of like the strat. Because recently, like I said, I've had Tyson Fury fantasies, and then also like a little bit of the David Goggins stuff. But listening to this dude, literally the epitome of one of these like sort of romantic, slightly romantic ideals of, he was, well, I listened to him on Joe Rogan, really, really good podcast episode, actually. And I think I've listened to it twice. He was world champion boxer, basically had wife, kids, me, like he had everything. And it wasn't like he was just some like tech stock millionaire that like had tons of money, but then might have like felt not, I don't know, physically or meant, like, this dude is like 6'9", like, bro, he was world champion heavyweight boxer. Like, he had every status imaginable, and he just wasn't satisfied. And he kind of just wanted to kill himself and was going to have like a fun time doing it, basically. And so he spoke through about how like he dealt with that, and then to come back, and who did he fight? I've forgotten the name. The black dude. But looking at those fights, the fact that the first one was a draw, Deontay Wilder, there you go. The first one, a draw. I think maybe he should have won it. And then the second one, and then those fights were so good. The fact, the first one should not. 12th round, he gets knocked down, and what's it called? Like the Resurrection. If you haven't like heard of it, it's a really, really cool thing to kind of watch if you find like a good video about it, or if you watch maybe listen to the podcast first and then watch the fight highlights. Like, it just sets up for like has enough lore to be a movie. Awesome. But it's kind of listening to him, and for the first time, instead of really thinking, I'm gonna become a heavyweight boxer, maybe that's because he wasn't describing the very like glitzy and glamorous side of it. He was talking about how he was just like partying out for ages and ages and like wanted to crash a Ferrari at 400 miles an hour into a wall. But I was kind of thinking like, damn, like this dude is, how can I kind of use what he's doing unintentionally? I was like, I can use some of this to help in my life and how I deal with things. And it was the first time that it had been 100% that. And I realised then, looking back on everything, and there's still a little bit of, when I went through Khabib phase, I've retained some of that now. It's not just, I've described very like physical sort of people, but there's also like, I got really interested in types of philosophy or maths for a while. And to sort of understand and see, just learning more about these people, you can kind of, if you're not sure what you want to do and you see this person who's like ended up being successful, you think, oh, I'll just do what they did to kind of get there. And it's almost unintentional. I'm not trying to become like a cardboard cutout of anyone. It's like, it worked for him. He got a meaning from that. I need meaning. Let me just go and do this. But then eventually, like, you did, and you realise, I don't have it in me to do 2-3 years Dagestan, basically. That's not true. You 100% do. The marathon video would immediately contradict with that. But maybe I don't want 2-3 year Dagestan. I understand that if I turn myself into like, if I shave my head and put it all here, got a beard, that I could be Khabib James, I don't know, whatever. But I don't think that would satisfy me in any way. Satisfy me, it'd be pretty cool, but that there's more than I need than that. Or maybe, yeah. Anyways, but there were still lessons that I took from that. So now that I know more about, say, the maths thing is a really good example of this, my approach to learning stuff is much more creative. And it was to say I got really into art at one point, and I've taken bits of that. And it's not that I'm like I do art every single day now. It's like I had a phase where I got really into art, and now I like very occasionally do it. I got really into like fitness stuff, and now I occasionally do it. But it's almost like I've also retained bits of the mental model that have benefited me, and it's super good. And this was the first time where watching the Tyson Fury thing, it was just all really sort of taken in, and now I've got like this dude's awesome story that I've like heard of, and it inspires me. Like I get excited talking about it. Like it's really cool, and yeah, it's great. And that leads on to a very good second bit, which I'd forgotten and now I've just remembered, which is how like much you willing to put in for these things. And it's an interesting question because you kind of need to know roughly where you're going. And I know the sort of the end destination of where I want to go, like very long term. But it's difficult in the meantime to sort of, if someone showed me exactly how to get there. I mean, Ronaldo, like there's a good Ronaldo quote of like, I should always use the path. Difficult path. Everyone will take, oh, whatever. That's not a good Ronaldo impression either. But I think I back myself enough that if someone could show me a scalable way to make money, I could iterate it again and again and again to get to the point where I want. Because that's really all this, the big limiting factor in where I'm at right now. And I just don't have that. Today I called up a bunch of people trying to get a job. And oh my God, some of the put downs, brutal, completely unsuccessful, but we'll go again tomorrow. But yeah, there's like tons and tons of ways you can make money, and there's tons and tons of different just opportunities you had in life. And I was thinking, how much would you settle for? And it's an interesting question with regards to stuff like university and school. I think this is not the case. However, if this is the path of university and school, and that guaranteed you like a 9-to-5 job, and then this one would be like drop out, do like random stuff, even if there's a 1% chance of succeeding, this is option 2, okay? And 99% of people bum out, but they all end up being worse off than these people. But they do just get by, okay? This is not science at all. It's just like my hypothetical. This is mine, okay? I would still pick this option because if I know I'm unsatisfied with this, it makes sense to pick this one here. But a much more interesting question, because I asked my parents the one before, and then another one got put back at me, because it's kind of an easy choice here. I know I don't want this, and this one kind of has something that I want. So of course I'm going to choose that one. But imagine your significant other, and you, or if you don't have a significant other, imagine a significant other. And imagine that you are going to have a child together. And so this is option A. Don't have a child. There's a 100% chance you guys both survive. Option B. There is a non-zero chance that during childbirth, a mother dies, or maybe the father dies because of shock as well. We can go vice versa if you're a dudette. Say there was a 50% chance. Your best future possible, your 100% awesomeness, is you, significant other, and little dzieci. That is Polish for child. So that's what you want. That's what you want most. But over here you have a 90%. You have a 90% right here. And it's this is your 100%, but it's only 50%. There's a 50% chance you lose your significant other and nie dzieci. And then you're stuck. That's a 0%. But if you pick the 90%, you're not living your full 100% of life. And I've with wife and kid, I don't really know what I'd do. It's a very difficult choice, but it's kind of making me think how much would I want to settle for? And I'm stubborn as anything when it comes to stuff like this. But I talk to people about it and got their opinions, and I'm just aware that I think a lot of people kind of just are happy enough to get by. I don't know. I've got this want for more. This might just be a very impulsive, random thought, but that's a little question too. How is 80%? I want to live. You got to live, and so what ratio of survival to live would you have? Where it gets tricky, and I think you see it a lot, is in stuff like kids. Okay, so I think if you get just say you have a guy A, all right, and you have girl, then you don't really need girl B. Okay, we have guy and girl, and their names are Adam and Becky. Adam sounds like a maths question. Adam's super crazy, he loves, I don't know, flamed throwers and doing crazy stuff. And Becky is really, really nice. She really loves Adam. Adam really loves Becky. It's a great relation, but she's not as outgoing. And so Adam knows that in order to be with Becky, he has to forego some craziness. Okay, you're going to have to make a compromise in every relationship. And the whole point is even if Adam goes 10% of his craziness, so now he's only living at 90%, well, the relationship with Becky, if it's that awesome, it's going to basically give him an extra 30%. So now he's living at 120. So that's a good deal. But what if Becky was super, super hermity and didn't like to do anything? Then Adam's got to go to 10%, and then when they go maybe back up to 40, I don't know, would it even be a 30% increase if they're not that great? Maybe. That's true love can exist for whatever. 40%. Now it's how much of is he going to give to this? And so in that situation, and this is why people say you don't want to lose yourself in a relationship. You don't want to become the perfect person, because it's supposed to enrich your life. It's supposed to get you living at a plus 100%. And so it makes sense for then Adam to be yeah, I'm going to find a different person. Makes sense. But kids is where it gets difficult. Because say you're thinking, if you're going to choose between quitting your reliable job, this is a much better example. Why do I always find a good thing at the end? Because then half the people will have clicked off. The retention rate's 17%. But if you have kids and you can choose then between, do I keep, say, my reliable job that's got me living on 60% because I just go into work and it's just, I come back and but I know that I have a responsibility to this kid. Or do you think, no, I don't like this job, even though I'm putting the kid's life at risk here because we could fall into poverty. I'm going to quit working with flamethrowers. No, wait. I'm going to quit my office job to work with flamethrowers and be a flamethrower entrepreneur. That's a difficult decision, because then it's like, how much do you choose to live? And it's like my dad said to me, one of the things he realized is basically, when you have kids, you kind of forfeit your life for a long time, he said, because you have to provide for this kid. And it hasn't got me seriously sort of I don't want to have kids or anything. But I was never seriously, I know so little about the world that I couldn't make a good decision otherwise. I think I want to have children, but it's a really difficult thing, because how much of your life are you going to sacrifice for other people? It's when it's just you, or just interacting with random people, this is a great reason to not be shy or socially anxious. Just do something crazy, go really loudly. Just, I don't know, do it right now, or whatever. Get some impulsivity. Because, you don't owe these guys anything, but you owe your kids something. So what are you going to do for this guy? I have no idea how much, because I want to live fully. And if I have a kid, I can obviously, still do tons of cool stuff with the kid. I can go skydiving with the kid, I reckon. But obviously that needs a certain amount of financial funding. Genius little alliteration there. But assuming you didn't have that, which I don't currently, and there's no way knowing that I will, am I going to be sat in a shed with a kid here because I decided to not go to an office job because I wanted to I don't know, try and blow up on social media or whatever, which is not all my intention. If that was my intention, I'd probably be doing a lot better. Or maybe that's just cope. That's another reason. Maybe I ended up stop idealizing these guys as much because it was too uncomfortable to just maintain a constant mental state of I'm not enough unless I'm these guys, which easily could be the case. That is just, I'd much rather live in a way that I feel like my life is worth living, instead of I'm not enough because I'm not Steph Curry. I'm not Steph Curry, and then for the 10 years it would take me to become Steph, how am I? Those things, they're going to be miserable. They're going to be really miserable years, and they won't. My brain, if I'm thinking I'm not enough, it won't see it's worth living. So that's awful. But that's why you got to fall in love with the process, and the more you sort of, if you pick something up and you just start it today, and you keep at it, it will compact. You bring the meaning into this thing, getting really interested in something. So, yeah, I think I said a while ago, just if you're stuck on what to do, just think of something and just do it. Learn to shuffle cards really good. That's something I like. I picked up the guitar recently. That's pretty cool. Learn to skateboard. That's good as well. All these just little things. But yeah, do I have an impression? Oh, okay. So Voldemort in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, he walks into Hogwarts or whatever, and he laughs. He goes oh, that was awful. That's really, really bad. Fuck. We're gonna end there. I don't think I could do it. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.